Have you ever felt like you're literally giving absolutely everything to your relationships and just getting absolutely nothing back? Well, today we are diving right into an explainer based on a seriously powerful homily by Father Joel Jomarcesis Galtus. And honestly, whether you're deeply religious or just trying to navigate the messy, everyday complexities of human relationships, the concepts we're looking at today are going to give you a lot to think about. This message hits hard. It directly challenges some of our deepest cultural assumptions about loyalty, connection, and how we expect all of our hard work in life to actually be rewarded.
To kick things off, Father Gatus anchors his reflection on this profound little saying. It's one of those truths we've probably all felt deep down, but, we rarely want to admit it out loud. The core idea here, the root of our profound sadness, usually isn't what actually happens to us. No, it's the heavy expectations we place on the people around us. If we want to be truly happy, truly at peace, we've got to start by stripping away those expectations.
So here is our roadmap for today's explainer. We'll start with the root of disappointment, then explore 3 hard truths: family imperfections, fickle friendships, and God's constancy. After that, we'll compare man's awards to God's rewards, and finish up with a really incredible story called The Glass of Milk.
Section 1. The root of disappointment. Why wanting more isn't always better. Society is constantly telling us that getting more money, a bigger social circle, more stuff is going to fix everything. But there's a pretty harsh reality we need to consider. Having more money often just means more problems and a lot less free time. And more friends, well, sometimes that just brings a whole lot more drama. It totally sounds counterintuitive, I know, but wanting more is very often the exact thing that burdens us with conflict in the first place.
To combat this endless cycle of disappointment, the homily introduces a super powerful framework to help protect our peace. And it's built on 3 absolute truths. Number 1, family is not always family. Number 2, friends are not always friends. And number 3, God is always God. By really internalizing these 3 simple statements, we can basically armor up our emotional well-being against the inevitable letdowns of life.
Moving on to Section 2, Truth 1, Family Imperfections, Shattering the Cultural Myth. Now, I'll be honest, this first truth is a really tough pill to swallow. From a super young age, we are basically conditioned to believe that blood ties guarantee unwavering loyalty, right? But the homily is asking us to take off those rose-colored glasses for a second and look at the reality. It's the stark contrast between our romanticized expectations of our relatives versus the harsh realities of human flaws. We always expect unconditional loyalty, but reality? Reality often shows us siblings brutally fighting over land or inheritance. We expect eternal support, but sometimes the very people who share our last name are the exact ones who refuse to lift a single finger when we hit rock bottom. So what's the takeaway? The crucial point here definitely isn't to reject your family or stop loving them. Not at all. The point is to manage your expectations. We just have to accept that sharing blood or, smiling together in a big family photo doesn't mean someone is always going to fight for you. Family is just one part of life. It isn't everything. Realizing this is absolutely crucial because it stops your entire world from collapsing when a relative inevitably lets you down.
Section 3, Truth 2, Fickle Friendships, the Danger of Hidden Envy. Listen, if family can disappoint us, our social circles can be equally, if not way more, conditional. We so often mistake shared history or just shared laughs over a drink for genuine, deep-rooted care. Consider this huge warning sign. Just because someone is standing right there in your corner when you are winning, laughing at all your jokes, praising your successes, that doesn't mean they genuinely want the best for you. As the homily points out, not everyone who claps for you is actually happy for you. Father Gatus hits on a really stark reality here. Some people are only going to stick around while they can get something out of you. They'll hug you right to your face, but the second you turn around, they might be the very ones tearing you down. And here's the real kicker. When you stumble and truly need a hand up, these so-called fair-weather friends are usually the first ones to conveniently disappear. Section 4, Truth 3, God's Constancy, the Unfailing Anchor. So if family isn't always family and friends aren't always friends, who exactly is left? Well, God is the only entity that remains entirely unchanged by circumstances. When literally everyone else walks away, the divine presence remains steadfast. To illustrate this, the homily actually references a famously tricky passage from the Gospel of Matthew. It poses a really tough theological question. Why does Jesus say we must not love our parents or children more than him?
I mean, at first glance, that sounds incredibly harsh, doesn't it? Does the divine actually want us to abandon our human relationships? But the explanation provided is brilliantly straightforward. It's not about loving your family less, it's all about proper alignment. Think about it. If you make a human being, like your spouse, your kid, or your parent, the absolute dead center of your universe, effectively making them your God, your world is inevitably going to collapse. Why? Because humans are flawed. We make mistakes, we grow old, and we eventually leave. God is the only constant strong enough to actually bear the weight of being your ultimate anchor. Section 5. Man awards, God rewards. Earthly versus divine compensation. Now, this is where the practical application of our daily struggles really comes into play. Look, we all work hard, right? We all sacrifice. But who is actually keeping the score? To answer that, Father Goddess brings in this incredibly punchy quote from the actor Denzel Washington to draw a really hard line between worldly recognition and heavenly compensation. It's just a perfect distillation of the human experience. People hand out awards, these temporary, fleeting little acknowledgments, but the divine offers rewards, deep, lasting, and multiplying returns on our goodness. Think about it. Society might hand you a flimsy piece of paper or, I don't know, maybe a slice of sheet cake for 20 long years of backbreaking labor at a company. Or think about the mothers who spend 50 years pouring their souls into raising a family only to be met with complete ungratefulness. Human beings are notoriously stingy with their gratitude, but the divine? The divine sees every single hidden tear, every silent sacrifice you make, and repays it with infinite grace, peace, and blessings that just overflow. And to emphasize the sheer scale of this divine generosity, Scripture reminds us that giving just one single glass of cold water to someone in need guarantees a massive heavenly reward. Literally nothing is wasted. Every single act of kindness you do is recorded, and it will be returned to you in ways you probably can't even imagine. Section 6. The Glass of Milk, a narrative of a planted seed. Let's see how all of this builds into the homily's core narrative proof. Father Geddes shares a deeply, deeply moving story to really cement this idea that no good deed ever goes unrewarded. Tracing the timeline of this incredible story, it begins decades ago with a starving young boy selling goods door to door, just trying to afford school. He knocks on a door hoping for just a scrap of food. Instead, a kind woman sees how hungry he is and gives him a huge, nourishing glass of milk, completely refusing any payment for it. Now, fast forward years later. That same woman is old, she's gravely ill, and she's terrified of a massive hospital bill she knows she cannot afford after major surgery. But on her discharge day, an absolute miracle occurs. She receives the bill, and the balance? It's zero. Written right there on the edge of the bill are the words, "Paid in full through a glass of milk." The brilliant doctor who performed her life-saving surgery was that exact same little boy from decades ago. I mean, wow. This story proves beautifully that goodness is like a seed. It might take years, maybe even decades to grow, but it is watched over by the divine, and it absolutely always bears magnificent fruit. So, how do we actually apply this wisdom today? Well, the homily issues a really direct, tangible call to action. We shouldn't just wait around to do good, we need to actively look for folks who need our support right now. Specifically, Father Gattuso highlights the struggling, unsung servants right in our own communities. He points to local catechists. These are people teaching values to the youth, very often completely unpaid, literally spending money out of their own pockets for transportation and materials. We're called to step up and support them, financially and emotionally, to plant our own seeds of goodness. To wrap up this explainer, I'm going to leave you with this final thought to carry with you. If every small act, every single glass of water, every glass of milk, every bit of support you offer someone in need is eternally recognized and rewarded, what small seed of goodness will you choose to plant today? The harvest is waiting. It's up to you